It's 5:30 p.m. You're trying to get dinner on the table. Your 4-year-old walks into the kitchen.
I'm hungry.
Can I have a snack? You say no. Dinner's in 30 minutes.
They whine. They cry.
They hang on your leg while you're stirring the pasta, so you give them some crackers, just to buy yourself peace. 30 minutes later, you put a beautiful, nutritious meal on the table. And what does your child say? I'm not hungry. Sound familiar? Here's what's wild. In Italy, children as young as 3 sit down to multi-course meals that last an hour. They eat artichokes. They eat bitter greens. They try new foods without drama. Meanwhile, many American parents are making 3 different dinners every night, negotiating with a 5-year-old over whether broccoli is too green. What's the difference? It's not that Italian children have different taste buds. It's not genetics. It's not even about the food itself. It's about something called Orari dei pasti, meal timing. And by the end of this video, you'll have a 5-step framework to implement it, starting today. The problem deep dive. Let me ask you something. How many times a day does your child ask for food? If you're like most parents I work with, it's constant. The car ride home from school, while you're making dinner, right after dinner, before bed. And here's what you probably do. You assess whether they're really hungry. You negotiate. You offer alternatives. No cookies, but you can have apple slices. You think you're being responsive. You think you're preventing meltdowns. But here's what might sting a little. You're actually training your child to be a picky eater. Let me explain the neuroscience. Your child's hypothalamus regulates hunger signals. But here's the thing. It doesn't just respond to physical hunger. It learns patterns. When you feed your child every time they ask, you're teaching their brain that food is always available. That hunger, even mild hunger, is an emergency that must be solved immediately. You're preventing something crucial from developing: appetite regulation. Think about it. When was the last time your child came to a meal actually hungry? Not, I'll eat if it's chicken nuggets, hungry, but genuinely, physically hungry. I can't remember? That's the problem. And here's what's happening in their brain. The prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for self-regulation, learns through cause and effect. When your child experiences true hunger, then eats a meal, then feels satisfied, their brain builds a powerful feedback loop. But when they're grazing all day, that loop never forms. You're not teaching obedience, following rules because someone said so. You're preventing discipline, the internal capacity to regulate themselves. Cultural comparison. In Italy, children don't snack between meals.
Period.
A 3-year-old knows that after colazione, breakfast, there's no food until pranzo at 1 p.m. That's 5 hours. Then nothing until merenda, a small snack at 4 p.m. Then nothing until cena at 8 p.m. Italian parents aren't negotiating in the grocery store about snacks. Their children aren't asking for crackers at 10:30 a.m. Now, you're probably thinking, that's cultural. Italian kids are raised that way. My child would never. But here's what the research shows. This isn't about culture. It's about biology. A study from the University of Leeds found that children who ate structured meals with no snacking showed significantly higher acceptance of new foods. Another study in Appetite Journal found that children with structured meal timing had better self-regulation of food intake by age 5. This isn't Italian magic. It's universal neuroscience. The concept. The Italians call it Orari dei pasti, mealtimes. But the deeper principle is this. Fame educata. Educated hunger. Think of it like lifting weights to build muscle. You stress the muscle. It gets tired. It repairs. It grows stronger. Hunger works the same way. Your child feels hunger. They wait. They eat a meal. They feel satisfaction. Their appetite regulation grows stronger. Here's the core principle. Hunger is not your enemy. Hunger is the teacher. The framework, 4 pillars. Pillar 1, the hunger window. What it is, structured meal times with 4 to 5 hour gaps. No food, none, between these windows. The neuroscience, when blood sugar drops, ghrelin, the hunger hormone, rises. This signals the brain. Food is needed. Then, when your child eats a complete meal, leptin rises, signaling satisfaction. This ghrelin-leptin cycle is how the body learns to regulate appetite. But constant snacking keeps blood sugar stable. Ghrelin never rises. The feedback loop never forms. Common mistake. Parents think 4 to 5 hours is too long. They worry about low blood sugar or meltdowns. Here's the truth. A healthy child's body is designed to go 4 to 5 hours between meals. That slight discomfort they feel, that's not suffering. That's learning. Example, your 5-year-old eats breakfast at 7:30 a.m. Eggs, toast, fruit. Nothing until lunch at 12:30 p.m. Not a cracker. Not a squeeze pouch. Not just a little something at 10 a.m. Pillar 2. The closed kitchen. What it is, outside of designated meal times, the kitchen is closed. Not negotiable. Not up for discussion. The psychology, this is about predictability. Your child's brain craves patterns. When food appears randomly based on whining or negotiation, their brain learns. Persistence gets rewards. But when meal times are fixed, their brain learns. Food comes at these times. I can wait. This develops what researchers call delayed gratification, a skill that predicts everything from academic success to relationship quality later in life. Common mistake, making exceptions. Well, we have a playdate today, so I'll bring snacks. It's a long car ride. They had a tough day. Every exception teaches the brain. The rule isn't real. Example, your 4-year-old asks for a snack at 4:30 p.m. Dinner is at 6 p.m. You say calmly, the kitchen is closed. Dinner is at 6. They protest. You repeat once, then redirect. I hear you're hungry. Dinner is at 6. Let's go read a book. Pillar 3. The meal composition. What it is. Meals include protein, complex carbs, and fat. This combination sustains energy for 4 to 5 hours. The neuroscience. Protein and fat slow gastric emptying. The rate food leaves your stomach. This keeps your child fuller longer and prevents blood sugar spikes and crashes. When kids eat crackers or fruit pouches, simple carbs, their blood sugar spikes. Then it crashes. Then they're hungry again in 90 minutes. Common mistake. Giving healthy snacks like fruit or crackers. These are still simple carbohydrates. They don't sustain. Example, breakfast isn't cereal and juice. It's scrambled eggs, whole grain toast with butter and berries. Lunch isn't a sandwich with chips. It's a sandwich with cheese and avocado, plus carrot sticks with hummus. Pillar 4. The neutral response. What it is. When your child says they're hungry between meals, you acknowledge without solving. The psychology. This is the hardest part for parents. Your instinct is to fix discomfort. But here's what's happening in your child's brain. They feel hunger. They express it. You remain calm. They learn. This feeling isn't dangerous. I can handle it. This is building distress tolerance, the ability to sit with uncomfortable feelings without needing immediate relief. It's one of the most important life skills you can teach. Common mistake. Over-explaining or defending. No, sweetie, because dinner is soon and I don't want to ruin your appetite, and we're having your favorite and... Your child doesn't need a thesis. They need a boundary. Example. I'm hungry. I know. Lunch is at noon. That's it. If they push. Asked and answered. Lunch is at noon. Implementation. 5 steps. Step 1. Pick your meal times and announce them. Specific instruction. Choose 3 meal times and 1 optional afternoon snack. Write them down. Tell your child, starting tomorrow, breakfast is at 7:30, lunch at 12:30, snack at 3:30, dinner at 6. The kitchen is closed between these times. Instead of letting meal times fluctuate based on your schedule, your child's requests, or your energy level. What's happening in their brain? You're creating a predictable pattern. The basal ganglia, the brain's habit center, loves patterns. Within a week, your child's body will start expecting food at these times. Anticipated objection. My schedule is too chaotic. We can't eat at the same time every day. Response. You don't need exact times. You need consistent gaps. If breakfast is sometimes 7 a.m. and sometimes 8 a.m., that's fine. The point is, 4 to 5 hours until the next meal, every time. Real example, Saturday morning. Your 6-year-old sleeps until 9 a.m. They eat breakfast at 9:30. They ask for a snack at 11. You say, lunch is at 2. That's when the kitchen opens again. Yes, that's 4.5 hours. Their body can handle it. Step 2. Clear out the visual snacks. Specific instruction: move all snack foods, crackers, pouches, granola bars, to a high cabinet or the pantry. If your child can see it, they'll ask for it. Instead of keeping kid-accessible snacks in plain sight and then having to say no 20 times a day. What's happening in their brain? Visual cues trigger desire. When your 4-year-old sees the cracker box, mirror neurons fire in their brain, simulating the experience of eating crackers. Then they want crackers. Out of sight literally means out of mind. Anticipated objection. But I want them to learn to self-regulate around food. Response: you're conflating access with regulation. A 4-year-old's prefrontal cortex, the part that handles impulse control, won't be fully developed until their mid-20s. You're not restricting food. You're structuring access until they have the brain development to handle it. Real example. You move the crackers. Your child asks for them. You say, we don't have snacks right now. Lunch is at noon. They might tantrum the first few times. By day 4, they stop asking. Step 3. Front-load the meals. Specific instruction: make breakfast and lunch bigger and more satisfying. Add protein and fat to every meal. Instead of a bowl of cereal or a granola bar, then wondering why your child is hungry 2 hours later. What's happening in their brain? Protein triggers the release of peptide YY and GLP-1, hormones that signal fullness and satisfaction. These hormones keep firing for hours, keeping your child satiated until the next meal. Anticipated objection: my child won't eat that much. They say they're full after 3 bites. Response: because they're not hungry. A child who hasn't eaten for 4 hours will eat. Trust the process. The first few days they might not finish. By week 2, they'll be eating full meals because they're actually hungry. Real example. Your 3-year-old used to eat a waffle for breakfast. Now it's a waffle with peanut butter, a hard-boiled egg, and apple slices. They eat all of it. They don't ask for food until lunch. Step 4. Ride out the extinction burst. Specific instruction. For the first 3 to 5 days, your child will test this.
Hard.
They'll cry, beg, tantrum. Your job is to stay calm and repeat. The kitchen is closed. Dinner is at 6. Instead of giving in just this once because you can't handle the meltdown. What's happening in their brain? This is called an extinction burst. When a behavior that used to work, whining for snacks, suddenly stops working, the brain doubles down. It's like pressing an elevator button harder when it doesn't light up. Your child isn't being manipulative. Their brain is genuinely confused.
The pattern changed.
If you give in now, you teach them, I just need to cry harder. Anticipated objection. This feels mean. They're genuinely hungry. Response. Discomfort isn't harm. There's a difference between hunger, a natural biological signal, and starvation. Your child will eat a full meal in 90 minutes. They're safe. What's actually mean? Training them to need constant food, then sending them into a world where no one will cater to that. Real example. Day 3. Your 5-year-old has a complete meltdown at 5 p.m. They're screaming about being hungry. You stay calm. I hear you. Dinner is at 6. You can wait in your room or help me set the table. They choose their room. At 6, they eat everything on their plate. Step 5. Protect dinner like it's sacred. Specific instruction. Dinner happens at the same time, at the table, with no distractions.
No tablets. No toys.
Just food and conversation. Instead of letting your child eat in front of the TV or while playing, barely noticing what they're eating. What's happening in their brain? Mindful eating activates the insula, the part of the brain that processes internal body states. When your child eats without distractions, they actually register the taste, texture, and satisfaction of food. This is how they learn to like new foods. Not through force or bribery, but through attention. Anticipated objection. My child won't sit still for a whole meal. Response. Not at first. Start with 10 minutes. That's it. A 3-year-old doesn't need to sit for 45 minutes, but they can sit for 10. Build from there. Real example. Your family sits down at 6:30. Your 4-year-old tries to leave after 5 minutes. You say, "We stay at the table until everyone's done. You can sit quietly or tell us about your day." They squirm. They stay. By week 3, they're sitting for 20 minutes without prompting.
Eviction handling.
Objection 1. My child is different. They have sensory issues/ADHD/ are extremely picky. I hear this a lot. And yes, some children have genuine feeding challenges that require professional support. But here's what research from the University of California shows. Structure benefits these children most. Children with ADHD have executive function challenges. Predictable meal times remove decision fatigue. Children with sensory issues often restrict food when they're not truly hungry. True hunger increases willingness to try new textures. The objection actually supports the method. Start with whatever your child will eat. The structure, meal timing, is more important than the food variety at first. Food variety comes later, once appetite regulation is established. Objection 2. This won't work in my culture. We're always at family gatherings with food out. Italian families are social. Greek families feast for hours. Spanish families eat late dinners together. Structure doesn't mean rigidity. It means predictability. At a family gathering, your child eats at designated times, when everyone eats. They don't graze on chips for 3 hours before dinner. The principle stays the same: periods of eating, periods of not eating. Adapt the timing. Keep the structure. Objection 3. I don't have time for this. I'm barely surviving as it is. I get it. You're exhausted. But here's the truth. You're spending more time now. Negotiating. Making multiple meals. Battling at the dinner table. This actually saves time. You make one breakfast, one lunch, one dinner.
No negotiations.
No special meals. The first week is harder. Week 2 is easier. Week 4, you'll have more peace at mealtimes than you've had in years. Plus, here's what you're not considering. You're teaching a skill that lasts a lifetime. The time you invest now means your 8-year-old, your 13-year-old, your 20-year-old knows how to regulate their appetite and try new foods. That's not extra work. That's parenting. Remember that 4-year-old begging for crackers at 5:30? Here's what it looks like 3 weeks in. 5:30 p.m. Your child walks into the kitchen. They don't ask for a snack. They know dinner is at 6. They might say, "I'm hungry." You say, "I know. Dinner's almost ready." They wander off to play. At 6, you call them to the table. They sit down. They're actually hungry, genuinely physically hungry for the first time all day. You put roasted chicken, rice, and green beans in front of them. They eat. Not because you begged. Not because you made a special meal. Because they're hungry and food is there. That's educata. Educated hunger. Here's the framework one more time. Structured meal times. Closed kitchen between meals. Substantial meals with protein and fat. Neutral responses to hunger requests. Will the first week be hard?
Yes.
Will your child test you? Absolutely. Will you doubt yourself?
Probably.
That's normal. You're changing a pattern. Patterns resist change. But here's what happens. By week 2, you'll see less whining. By week 3, they'll eat more at meals. By week 4, they might try a food they've refused for years. Your one tiny action step for today: pick 3 meal times. Write them down. Tell your child, that's it. Don't change the food yet. Don't clear out the pantry. Just establish the times. Everything else builds from there. And if you want to dive deeper into how structure builds cooperation in other areas, bedtime, morning routines, listening the first time, check out my next video on the Japanese concept of kata, or practice routine. It'll transform how you think about discipline. You've got this.